I am absolutely remote. I'm in Georgia. I think I'm in Macon. I'm not exactly sure, but anytime I have shows like this where I am off premise and out of the studio, I never know how it is going to go. But that is a-okay because I have a phenomenal guest this morning that's going to talk some wonderful things. CSSJ, crime survivors, that's what she's going to be talking about today and Heal the Vote. So I have none other than Doris Strong. She is the Tallahassee chapter chair for CSSJ. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? I
I
am
just,
so
I just can't
pleased
thank
to be
you
on
enough.
stage.
Yeah, I just can't thank you enough for coming on, especially now. You get to see how when I'm not in the studio, there's always a crash. It's like a car crash, right? You just never know what's going on or how it's going on. So how long have you been with Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice? And my listeners are familiar with Crime Survivors and Safety and Justice. We're absolutely just a phenomenal group. We're over 100,000 strong here in Florida. We have, what is it, Ms. Doris? How many thousands we have in Florida? Is it
I
5?
think it's 9. I think it's about
Yeah, I think you're right.
9,000. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's about 9,000 in Florida.
yep, we were 8,000 at one time. Now we're 9,000 crime
Strong.
survivors here. We're a network of survivors joining together to create healing communities and shape public safety policy. So what does a chapter chair do? Let's talk about that. What does a chapter chair do?
Okay, let me explain to you why I'm a chapter coordinator. I
Okay, I like that one.
I lost my father to murder in 2013. And at that time, I was introduced to Crime Survivor Safety and Justice as just a member. And then I decided that I wanted to be a chapter coordinator because what I did is I took my pain and took it and turned it into purpose. And I know without a doubt that I'm supposed to be part of Crime Survivor Safety and Justice.
Huh. So let's talk about how you've taken your pain and used it, because that's what every crime survivor has done. They've taken their pain and they used it in a way. And now you're in Tallahassee and you are a chapter chair. So what does that entail?
Okay, what the chapter? Let me just also add this: sharing is caring. Every time you share your story, you're caring about what's going on in the community. And so, me as a chapter coordinator, um, of course, I'm over the chapter, and I find survivors that are willing to share their, even if they're not willing to share their story, just to be a member. But I found out that most of the people that I have brought into the chapter coordinate, they're willing to share their stories, and sharing their stories gives a platform to be when doing legislative time. If we want to get a bill, a law change, we use those stories in the Capitol.
Okay. Well, we just had someone pop in the room, and that will be none other than Juan Pablo. He is a phenomenal person. We know him as the state field director. Hey, Juan Pablo, we're just chatting it up this morning because we've got a big event that's coming up. You've been on the show. You're not a stranger to Today with Pastor Jay. You've been on the show several times talking about crime survivors for safety and justice, talking about a lot of things that we are doing statewide, have done statewide, about all the different kind of events. We had our Survivor Speak this past year. That was kind of cool. Let's talk about the Survivor Speak a little bit.
Well, thank you, Pastor Jay. Doris, good to see you. And hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Juan Pablo Chavez. I am the state manager in Florida. So, what happened at Survivor Speak? Well, first of all, when a survivor speaks, change happens.
Amen.
That's simple. That's simple. But when a survivor speak, not just change happens. Also, we change internally. We heal internally, and we heal others, because I'm sure you have heard a phrase that says heal people, hurt people, hurt people. But also it's true that heal people, heal people. So we bring hundreds of crime survivors from around the state to Tallahassee to elevate the voice, to represent those that cannot speak anymore, and also to heal, to bring new safety priorities.
You know, this is a bipartisan effort, and here we are at, election season. Everyone's talking about they need to get out to vote, who they're going to vote for, things like that. But this organization worked with all sides of the aisle to push safety initiatives and to give a voice, not necessarily a voice, but I'm going to call it, this organization is a megaphone to the voices of those that are survivors. Because you're right, when survivors speak, change absolutely happens. But this is something you're doing all the time. This isn't just down around election time. And what you have going on right now, upcoming Friday, I believe it is, we have Heal the Vote. Let's talk about Heal the Vote. This is the second annual Heal the Vote thing that we're having, and it's happening all over. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, sure. Well, Heal the Vote is a not partisan campaign, and let me tell you, America is one of the most traumatized nations in the world because violence in our communities. So we want to make sure that people are healing. We want to make sure people are, identifying the resources to heal. So here in Florida, in the country, we are mobilizing 100,000 crime survivors to vote in this election. Okay. And demand the public officials to commit for a new public safety, okay? And yes, we are not partisan community organization, and we are engaging people all over the country, okay? And let me tell you a story. I was thinking what a voting means to me. When you vote, of course, you elect the decision makers. You hire employees to administrate our taxes, right? But also when we vote, we heal, okay? And we break the cycle of crime. And I was thinking in a story that I heard and I read years ago. It was a banquet. And there were senators, state reps in the banquet. The waitress was serving the food. So one of the senators said, "Hey, waitress, can I have 2 bowls of butter?" And the waitress said, "No, sir, just one." The senator said, "Hey, excuse me, waitress, do you know who I am?" "Of course. You are a senator. You're a senator." "Okay, I'm asking you for 2 bowls of butter." And the waitress said, "Yes, senator, but do you know who I am?" "Yes, you are the waitress. You're the waitress." "That's right, I am the waitress, but I am who controls the butter. So you get only." So
wow.
when we vote, we control the butter.
I like that.
Okay.
We
vote, we control the butter. So if you are a crime survivor of childhood sexual assault, come and vote with me. Domestic violence, come and vote with me. Gun violence, come and vote with me. Hate crime, come and vote with me. Human trafficking, come and vote with me. We are going to control the butter.
I like that. Miss Doris, how important is this to you to have your voice heard and to vote? And what kind of things are that you're doing in Tallahassee as chapter chair there?
Okay. It is so important for me to vote because I always say when I vote, I will be able to sit at the table. And when it comes down to survivors, it's what we want. When we get out and vote to help stop the cycle of crime, it's what we want. They're going to hear us, and we're going to put it out there so they can hear what we want when it comes down to survivor. And some of the things that we're doing in Tallahassee, actually tomorrow, we're going to do what we call a pop-up breakfast, where we actually cook breakfast on the premises, free breakfast. And we're going to also do the Heal the Vote campaign. We're going to get people to pledge that they are going to vote. Because like Juan said, if you're a part of if you know domestic violence, sexual assault, come and vote with us. Promise us that you're going to vote on November the 8th.
All right. Well, it's important to get the vote out. We've got to take a break. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't touch that dial. We're going to talk a little bit more about how important for your voices to be heard. And we'll speak a little bit more about CSSJ. In the meanwhile, you can always go to cssj.org to learn more information. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor J. Hey, Mark. I wasn't sure where we were on time, but I didn't want to go to another. For those that are watching me, this is the behind the scenes of Today with Pastor J. I am in Georgia, which that's not, let me put my picture up there. I'm in Georgia. So I am in Georgia talking about just getting people out to vote, and it's so important. How much time did I have, Mark? Let me look at my text. He's texting me. Oh, I just hit 10 minutes, so I did good. Okay. How much time do I have left? Mark is on it. Okay. Normally you guys will hear Mark, but he's muting as not to cause a disturbance in the background. So we're doing pretty good. All right. So I'm just going to go back in, and then Juan Pablo, I'm going to lead in. When I finish, I'm going to lead in with you, and we're going to talk more about crime survivors and what Heal the Vote is. And you can think of any other things that's going on. What we're doing in Florida. Let's talk about what we're going to do on Friday in Florida. Okay. And if you have the link for survivors to register for that, you can drop that in the comments, Juan Pablo. Okay.
Okay, Pastor. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Welcome back. You're listening to Today with Pastor J. And of course, I am on remote. I'm using my cell phone, so I'm hoping that this is coming out clear. I am in Georgia, currently in Macon, Georgia. And I am with CSSJ, Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. I'm a volunteer with the organization, and I have a chapter chair from Tallahassee on the line, but also have the state director, Juan Pablo Chavez, on the line, and we're just going to be talking about healing the vote. Speaking of healing the vote, I'm in Georgia. We're like, what you doing in Georgia? I'm in Georgia encouraging people to vote. Well, particularly for a candidate, let's just throw out Herschel Walker for Senate out there. But not everyone has to agree with my politics. This isn't about politics. This is about people going out to vote, people that have been traumatized, those that have been dealing with crime. We want you to vote so your voices can be heard. So here in Florida, we are doing the second annual Heal the Vote this upcoming Friday at noon. Juan Pablo, let's talk about what that's going to like. Apparently, I'm supposed to be maybe moderating that. That's going to be interesting. We're going to have music, right?
Yes, we want to have a DJ. Yeah, Tracy William, our DJ, is going to be there playing some music for the statewide forum.
Yeah, and this is a virtual event. So I want to encourage you that if you are a survivor and you want to be part of this and get part of Heal the Vote, please make sure you register. I will put the link on my website, Today with Pastor J, so you can register. You can follow me on any of the social media platforms. I'll put the link there. We're encouraging survivors to vote. We are healing the vote, and we're kicking this off on this upcoming Friday with over 100,000 people. We're trying to encourage to go out to vote, and vote. So Juan Pablo, this is going to be wonderful, right? This is a virtual.
Yes.
It's not going to be long. It's virtual. Take your lunch break. Let's talk about it.
Yes, well, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. We are inviting leaders from across the state, South, Panhandle, all over the state, Jacksonville, yourself, Jay, Central Florida, South Florida. We are inviting them to lead this statewide forum and share with people multiple things. First of all, what voting means to you. Mm-hmm. Why we should go out and vote, okay? And also we are going to, let people know all the voter education, about registration, about early voting, where they have to vote, questions about that. But also, main thing, we want to ask people to pledge to vote, to get crime survivors and take the voter pledge, okay? And make sure people need support voting, who can pick you up, how can we help you? And make sure you vote in your town. It's the main thing. And we're inviting 100,000 people across the country to vote.
Now that is powerful. Miss Doris, guess what? We just got someone from Tallahassee talking about how they can get involved with the Tallahassee chapter there. So Yeah, so you already picked up another recruit. Wilma, just want to thank you so much for chiming in, and we can see you. And we got to get everyone out there to vote. So you're saying you're having a breakfast, right?
Yes, yes. We're having a breakfast on tomorrow. It's going to be from 9 to 11 here in Tallahassee. And we have partnered with a couple of other organizations to for the pop-up breakfast. And like I said, I'm going to be doing the Heal the Vote campaign to try to get people to pledge that they are going to vote on November the 8th, because it's a critical time. We really need to vote.
Why do you think voting is so important now? I mean, for the past few years since the last election, it's been crazy. I'm in Georgia right now, as I mentioned, and record number of people are voting now. They're so surprised. I've been getting text messages all day long about the voting just here in Georgia with early voting, that people are just coming out voting so their voices can be heard. In fact, they're saying that Georgia's early midterm voting is surpassing the 2020 presidential election. And I'm hoping early voting for Florida hasn't started yet, but I'm hoping that this is going to be a movement everywhere, that people are going to go out in droves and vote. But how crucial is this for survivors to be heard now?
Well, actually, you said it just when you was talking, that it is so important that everybody vote because they want their voices heard. So they're getting out and they're voting. And early voting for Florida starts October the 29th.
Okay. Well, for us, it starts on Monday, the 24th for us. So there it goes. The early voting starts in different places. Want to encourage everyone to go to your supervisor of election website and find out when early voting starts for you. Get involved, get engaged. You could be a poll watcher. You not just can vote. There's so many things that you can do to vote that's crucial and that is important. Juan Pablo, I'm gonna tell you, I'm excited about Heal the Vote, because Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice is all about healing those that's been traumatized from crime, not just policy and things like that, but getting people to a place where they're getting the proper care. And I know that's number one priority for you, is for survivors to be healed. When you connect healing with voting, what does that look like?
You know, when you are voting, you are healing. When you are sharing your story, you're healing. And everybody has been hurt in some point of life. Everybody. And every human being deserves the opportunity to heal. So here in Florida, we are developing chapters to heal, to help each other, to support each other. So when we vote, we are elevating our voice. We are making a difference. We are healing. We are changing the system. We are electing the people that we are going to keep them accountable to heal the system, to represent our interest about new safety priorities.
I like how you said to hold them accountable and to elect those that speak for us. Crime survivors have been marginalized over the years. Policies have been made that don't include the voice of the survivor. And that's something that CSSJ has done, has elevated the voice of survivors so that policies and laws and things that are being written can help those that are survivors of crime. And in doing so, I know this Heal the Vote campaign that we're having and that we're doing on Friday is going to have a couple of people. One that Flagler County is very familiar with. We're going to have a special message from Speaker Designate Representative Paul Renner. He's going to send in a special message to encourage survivors of crime to vote. Speaker Designate Representative have been quite an ally to this organization. He's done a lot when it comes to prison reform within the state of Florida. So I'm just excited that he is continuing to be a supporter, and not just him. Like, this is a bipartisan effort. He's continuing to support these efforts along with other people within the Florida State House and in the Senate. We're moving on. Got to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Mark wasn't sure where we were. I just took a snap at it. Oh, he's texting me. Huh, 5 minutes left. I did good. All right. When we come back from the break, normally those that are watching me, the behind the scenes, normally we have the music in and out, but because I am remote right now, you guys saying I hear you, Pastor Jay, but I can't see you. Because I'm remote in my hotel room, and when we plug in this way, it's easier for the studio not to put the music and put our breaks in. Otherwise, we'll have crazy, strange echoes, which will be like really, 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 really bad. So we're trying not to do that today. All right, we got 5 minutes left. I want to point people to the website, the CSSJ website. Also, I want to talk about the pledge, how they can sign the pledge as a crime survivor. And what they can do to sign the pledge and to give more information. Juan Pablo, do you know of any other events that's coming up? I can mention a few that people have been talking about and encourage people. Are we going to have those events on our website? Do you know?
Normally we don't put it in the website, but yes, they can give me a call or they can call Doris and we can tell them about the events in the state of Florida.
Okay, all right. All right.
Because we have events everywhere.
All right, Ms. Doris, is there anything in particular that you want to talk about? Because we got a few minutes left. I want to make sure, as a chapter chair, do you have a story that you'd like to share? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when we come back in, I'm going to lean to you and then you can share something that's on your heart. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys, for your patience. And thanks for those that are watching. As you know, again, I'm remote in Georgia. Hopefully, prayerfully, I'll be home today. Lord, please let me go home today. Just to turn around and come back next week, right? Okay. Want to give a thank you and a shout out to Steve Verrier, thefloridamortgagecenter.com, for sponsoring today with Pastor Jay. We couldn't do it without you. I'm just grateful, thankful, and blessed for opportunities. As you know, I work with several different organizations, but nothing touches my heart the way Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice does. CSSJ. It has been a vehicle that I have used for my own healing from crime. It has also been a vehicle where my voice has been elevated and heard on a national level. And I'm just grateful for that. Every year we have Survivors Speak. This past year, I was able to take almost 20 individuals to Tallahassee for Survivors Speak. And Survivors Speak has touched my heart. And yes, it's made up of survivors, but we have so many people that support this organization. I had a couple that weren't even survivors go to the Survivors Speak and said, oh my goodness, I want to support this organization. I want to do something for this organization. And when you think about Heal the Vote, that's something everyone can do. Everyone can vote. And every survivor, if you felt like you have been muffled, if you felt like your voice haven't been heard, if you felt like no one cares about you or the trauma that you've been in, this is the time that you can speak and you can tell who you want in office. You can cast your vote for those that's concerned about your issues. And crime survivors, that's a way to heal. That's a way to elevate your voice. So, Ms. Doris, I'm going to turn it over to you because I know you've got plenty of stories that you'd like to share because it's all about sharing, right?
Right. Definitely. Sharing is caring. And I just want to plug in there before I say anything else. Is the person that is interested in the Tallahassee chapter, you just go out on the cssj.org and you will find Tallahassee, that chapter. Of course, there's other chapters in the state of Florida, but you just click on that chapter for Tallahassee, and I will get text that you signed up. But I also wanted to say that when it came down to the person that murdered my father, he was shot when he was around 16 or 17 years old, and he lost both of his legs. Well, there was things that I feel like the system failed him. There's things that the system could have helped him with, like substance abuse. They say it's not substance abuse anymore, it's substance misuse. and alcohol misuse. So I felt like the system failed him. And so my thing is, we need in the state of Florida, we need more trauma recovery centers. And I want to be in the middle of the policies and the laws where we can get trauma recovery centers in the state of Florida. More, we have one, but more trauma recovery centers in the state of Florida. So, individuals can get the services that they really need.
I love that. I love that. And how you've been able to take your pain and sympathize and empathize with even the criminals that are committing a crime. Because you're right, we do need trauma recovery centers. We need other places where people can heal. They're going in and out of jail and they're just back and forth, back and forth. I mean, the recidivism rate is just so high, but they're not getting the services that they need. Then we have the survivors of crime still hurt, not getting the resources that we need, not getting the healing that we need. But now this is something everyone can do. That's easy, that's fast, that's great. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it's voting. It is voting, where you can be heard loudly with your vote. As a crime survivor, you can heal by casting your vote. Juan Pablo, I am so excited about this Heal the Vote virtual forum that's coming up on this Friday at noon on October the 28th. I got the time right? Time and date right?
That is correct. That is correct. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And you can always email me, Pastor Geraldine at geraldine.org, or reach out to me, text me, or whatever it is that it may be. And I will get you the link. If you're watching by way of social media, Juan Pablo put the link in so you could register, so you can be part. We're going to have a fantastic virtual forum on Friday, October the 28th. We got a party. We got a DJ. We're going to have some survivor stories. We have some of our elected officials encouraging people to vote and to heal the vote. All right, Juan Pablo, last thoughts.
Well, let me tell you, when a survivor speaks, change happens.
Change happens.
When a survivor votes, we make history.
We make history. I like that. I like that. I want everyone to sign the pledge. There's a Heal the Vote pledge. You can go to cssj.org and sign the Heal the Vote pledge. And you can pledge by casting your ballot for the election. You can pledge also by doing early voting or vote by mail. All right, guys, you know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? You're going to vote. And more importantly, you're going to heal the vote. You're going to cast your vote. You're going to vote, vote, vote. And you're going to be heard today. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. All right. Thank you guys so much. Mark, I think that was better than the other stuff. Yay? You can say hi, Mark. You don't have to text it. He's thinking about it.
Yes, it went well.
Okay. See why we didn't have a echo, right?
No, everything was good.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Thanks, Juan Pablo. You did a good job. You did a great job, Miss Doris. And I'll make sure I get this link once it's all cleaned up. I'll have it that you guys can put it out on Monday. All right.
Thank you, Pastor Jay.
No worries. No worries. No worries. All right. Well, that's the end of that. You know, guys, this has been great. I've got to go. So yesterday, guess who I ran into yesterday here in Georgia? Kind of cool. Yep. Senator, former Governor Rick Scott was in Georgia. He's here supporting Herschel Walker. And that was just awesome just to see him. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, I'm one of yours. Don't confuse me with Georgians, which I love Georgians. Don't get me confused. But he's just as sweet and just as kind. I probably shouldn't say he's sweet and kind, but he's just an amazing man. Just grateful and thankful for him. But guys, you can vote. Go out and vote. And hopefully I'll be in Florida by later today. That's the plan. That's what I want to do. I'm supposed to be having dinner with someone, but we'll see what happens. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Take care.